Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, I'm going to be looking at the question, why did Devin Nunes add the MMTLP letter to his letter to Congress? So we're also going to be looking at the latest developments for Don in DC and the final stage of his booking. So stay tuned for that. We're also going to be looking at ticker symbol TMDX, which is currently up approximately 35% on the week and also up approximately 200% on the previous 6 months. This is a stock that has been featured in the Discord and was also featured in some of my previous videos. So stay tuned for that. And we're also going to be looking at another detailed breakdown of Apple earnings, which were a significant beat. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first headline here from investing.com, we can see that the US stocks future rally, VIX tumbles after a weak jobs report. So we can see here that the small cap 2000 is up 1.78%, the US Tech 100 is up 1.6%, and the US 500 is up 0.07%. So overall, not too bad response from the market. So if we look at a summary of the April jobs report, first of all, we can see number one here, red hot labour market is now finally starting to show signs of cooling down. The economy in the US added 175,000 jobs in April, much lower than the expectations of 238,000. Unemployment rate rose by 0.1% to 3.9%. Wage growth is slowing. So the reason why that is good is that is a positive indicator for inflation, and it's increasing at 3.9%, and that is the lowest. So a positive sign there from an inflation point of view. And finally, shout out here to Quiver Quantitative, who stated here with regard to Nancy Pelosi, and they are saying here, it seems to be that she's made $3.86 million in the stock market so far in the month, which is approximately 20 times her annual salary. So we're certainly one of the luckiest traders out there. Let's now move on to have a look at the Apple earnings in terms of a breakdown of the income statement. So we can see here for the second quarter of 2024, in terms of overall revenue, we're looking at $90.8 billion. So that was a significant beat, and it was also up 4% year on year. In terms of the products, and we know that the iPhone sales were down, however other increases in revenue were positive, and that's why we had an increase in the overall revenue. So in terms of operating profit, we can see Apple have recorded a $27.9 billion operating profit, so with a 31% margin. So great news there. In terms of net profit, we're looking at $23.6 billion. So overall, very, very strong figures there from Apple. And if we look at what the CEO has confirmed, he's also stated here that Apple has big plans to announce from an AI point of view during its iPad event next week, as well as the company's annual developer conference in June. So we will keep an eye out for that, and hopefully something significant. So shout out now to Unusual Whales, who've just posted that Google have paid Apple $20 billion in 2022 for Google to be the default search engine in the Safari browser, according to a newly unsealed court document, and the reference for that is Bloomberg. So certainly very interesting. And finally, let's finish off by having a look at some of the key positives. So I think the biggest positive was revenue, that was $90.8 billion, and the other biggest positive was the earnings per share, which was also a significant beat at $1.53. So the record revenue was certainly very, very strong. We also had the launch of the Apple Vision Pro, exciting product announcements, worldwide developer conference, iPhone revenue, we know that was $46 billion, and I think in the second earnings I do expect that to grow significantly. So overall, great news for Apple, and I think today in the market it was up close to 6%, and I'd see that continuing for quite a while and heading closer to the $200 mark, and I know the price targets have also been increased, so a great long-term hold. Let's now have a look at the last data schedule done in DC. So shout out here to Jen Cap, who's given us the latest information and developments in terms of a booking. So if we have a look on the left here, certainly the bookings are looking much better now. However, there's still a number of slots available. We can see 3 slots available on the Monday, 3 slots available on the Tuesday, just 1 available on the Wednesday for next week. Thursday we have 4 slots and 3 slots for Friday. So very close to filling up. And what she's also stated is that a few appointments are still available, so please go ahead and get on the phone or email your representative and let's get those booked up fully. So let's now have a look at news with regard to DJT and also Devin Nunes and how he used MMTLP in his letter to Congress. So before we do that, headline here, just breaking news from CNBC. We can see that the SEC is charging Trump media auditor with massive fraud on hundreds of companies and imposes a lifetime ban. So what we can see in terms of the key points here, so the auditing firm for Trump media and the auditor's owners were charged with massive fraud by the SEC, and that affected approximately 1,500 SEC filings. So the auditor I go by the name of BF Borges CPA, and they've also agreed to pay a combined $14 million fine. So the impact on DJT is that at time of editing the stock was down 9%, and we know it has been having a good run up. So let's move on to have a look at the speculation in terms of how Devin Nunes used the Congress letter. So shout out here to Den Cap, who's clarified this by obviously referencing Ham. So if you remember, Ham was featured in some of the previous videos where he talked about huge news coming from Congress, and what she stated here is basically, did she miss something, and what are you saying that Ham is the one who got Devin Nunes to include the reference to MMTLP in his letter and to the 4 members of Congress regarding DJT? So if Ham had a role and influence in the Devin Nunes letter regarding market manipulations, then certainly I think we welcome that, and that is positive. I know there are disagreements out there, but obviously one thing I think we can agree with is that Ham is certainly not a friend to the hedge funds and the market manipulators. So what Barber stated, yes, he had a meeting with the DJT attorneys to add FNGR, and he also ultimately added MMTLP. So that's positive for us, and obviously we're lucky to get that attention that we are getting, and I think that is right and correct that MMTLP got that attention because we are the first ones there to have that significant progress and obviously insight into Congress, and that's still ongoing that we have just seen with Richie. So she also, Barb's also stated that Ham had daily conference calls and updated the participants every day. So pleased to see that certainly if this is true, then Devin Nunes has taken that on board. So overall great news, and let's now have a look at an interesting post from Timeless Tim, who's posted with regard to MMTLP. Another example, like so many others, real-time short reminder, his GTC order was set on November the 7th, 2022 around 12 noon, and then on December the 8th, we know 3:59 p.m. there were 505s, which is a symbol for short on shares, ruled on the board, and his sell order was too late to be cancelled. So in other words, it should have gone through if we did not have the U3 halt. We know the U3 halt came from FINRA. The market in terms of this, we're looking at the broker in terms of here being E-Trade, and obviously this is something that we can see here. The sell orders were also included significant high prices, and we can see here in the second image also here the 505s are coming in when the price went down to $2.90 at 3:59. So as far as I can see from here, it certainly seems to be that somebody knew what was going on. Finally, I'm going to finish off by having a look at ticker symbol TMDX, also known as Transmedics Group. This is a stock that was featured in a number of previous videos, so go ahead and check these out. And the breaking news on this was also shared exclusively in the Discord in our stock news channel, as well as on our research and DD channel. So let's have a look at the chart. So if we look at the previous 5 days at time of editing, we can see it's currently up in excess of 38%, and currently at time of editing trading at around about $126.74. So if we compare that with the previous 6 months chart, here we can see it is up close to 200%, and if you have a look, prior to the 6 months, we can see it was trading around about the $40 mark, and so significant upsides there for people who had it from the long-term point of view. So let's have a look at what the company is about. So in terms of the profile, so this is a commercial stage medical technology company. They're engaging in organ transplant therapy for end-stage organ failure patients in the United States. So they offer organ care system, OCS, which is a portable organ perfusion optimization and monitoring that utilizes its proprietary and customized technology. This is certainly something that we featured in the previous video. So let's have a look at current headline news in terms of why it has been going up. So first of all, we know that the first quarter earnings report was significantly positive. And we can also see a headline here, May the 3rd from Defense World, that they have just set a one-year high after very strong earnings. So great news in terms of the earnings. So in terms of the stock price, it has reached the 52-week high. And we can see here that it went in excess of $121. So in terms of their earnings, they've reported 35 cents earnings per share for the quarter, topping the consensus estimate of 5 cents per share. So that is a very, very large beat. In terms of revenue, we're looking at $96 million compared to the analyst estimate of $83.78 billion. So a huge beat there, and certainly going in positive directions. And if we look at the analyst upgrades, we can see several research firms recently looked at this, and we could say the nefarious actor here, Canaccord Genuity Group, raised their target price on this stock from $102 to $117, but we can see that it's already breached that. So that's certainly a company that we don't trust. However, JP Morgan have also lifted their price target on this from $105 to $127. Oppenheimer have also upped their price target from $105 to $125. So certainly positive news there in terms of the overall price targets. And finally, if we have a look at the number of large investors, they have all, and institutional investors, they have also been added into TMDX, and we can see here FMR LLC have increased their institutional ownership currently by 42.5%. So Vanguard have also increased their stock holdings in TMDX. We can see that Sandhill Capital Partners have also raised their position. So significant confidence from the institutional investors. I believe there also have been significant Congress trades in this. So this is a stock that we have been watching. So if you would like to get more details of due diligence and stocks that we share in the research channel and the breaking news channel, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.